and welcome to Tiger Art. Today you're going to meet my friend Mr. Roy. Mr. Roy's full name is Roy G. Biv. Let's think about the letters in Roy G. Biv. R, O, Y, G, B, I, V. What in the art world starts with all those letters? If you said the colors of the rainbow, you are absolutely correct. To remember the order of colors in the rainbow, of the full spectrum of colors, if you can remember Roy G. Biv's name, then you will know that the R stands for red, the O stands for orange, the Y stands for yellow, the G stands for green, the B stands for blue, the I stands for a color called indigo, and the V stands for violet. When we do this in my classroom, when we work with the color spectrum, we cut out indigo. We just keep it to the main 6 colors, 3 primaries and 3 secondaries. So remembering back to a previous lesson on color, we talked about how to set up a color wheel using the primary colors first as a triangle. Those 3 colors that you cannot make by mixing other colors together were red, yellow, and blue. The 3 colors that you can make by mixing those together were called secondary colors, and those were green, orange, and violet. So for today, we're going to be working on using the colors in order, and we're going to be creating a bright, cheerful picture that I think you'll enjoy. You'll be using some paint today, and you'll be using some Q-tips. Now, I gave you an art kit that has those supplies in it. You're not going to use all of the Q-tips that you have. You're only really going to need 5 of them. You will need a white piece of paper that's kind of thick, like thicker than regular drawing paper, and I gave you some of that too. And you're also going to be needing a paintbrush. When we look at the color spectrum, or the colors in the rainbow, we can see that every other color is a primary, and then the in-betweens are secondaries. So like the red and the yellow, there's a color between there, and that color, it kind of fades from the red to orange and then to yellow. So as those colors start to come together, that's how we know what colors make what secondary colors, or what primaries make which secondaries. So our earlier lesson in color is going to be helpful in this. As we continue through the next few years learning how to make art, color is an important part of that, and knowing the color wheel and the color spectrum is a very important part of that. Okay, so for today's project, you will be using paints. So you want to get to a place where it is safe to do that, somewhere where you will not be making a mess of nice things. Also, if you have an old shirt or something, an apron that you can put on, that would be helpful. I always do that, and then I also kind of pull my sleeves up and out of the way. That's pretty important for this one. A lot of times I see kids get paint on their sleeves during this project, and it kind of makes a mess of everything, including themselves. So just get those up and out of the way. You need a white piece of paper. It should be thicker than drawing paper. I gave you some in your art kit. And you will also need a circle. Now, this could be a circle like this cup that I gave you in your art kit is a circle, and that could work if you set it down. I also gave you one that looks like this. Now that's a bit smaller. It might work. You do need this for something else, so if you do use this, just remember to put it back in your art kit. It's not actually for this. So I'm just going to use my cup because that's a little bit bigger and it's a little easier. Place it right in the center. Then you're going to use something red, like a red crayon or a red colored pencil. Don't use a red marker. If you don't have red, you could use a different color or just a regular pencil. It doesn't really matter. So you hold it tight, don't let it move, and just trace that. If it's not exactly perfect, that's totally fine. Then you're going to need your paintbrush. You should have a blue paintbrush that I gave you last time, and you should also have like a paintbrush inside your watercolor set. So you can use that one, would be fine. And you're going to be using 6 colors of paint today. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. All right. And then you're going to want like maybe a scrap piece of paper, something big on the table to protect it from getting messed up. And if you have a small trash can or something handy nearby, you could use that. I'm just going to use like an empty cup and put stuff in there. So this cup has water in it, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to throw it away anyways. You're going to go in this order. So I gave you all these colors. That's exactly the colors you're going to use, and that's exactly the order that you will go in. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. I also in your art kit gave you 6 Q-tips. Well, I think I gave you, kindergartners I gave 7, first grade I gave 6, and I think other grades I gave 6 as well. So you need 6 of those. If I gave you 7, don't use all 7, save the 1. You're only going to need 5 now that I think about it. So you're going to start with red. You're going to open this carefully, and you're going to use your paintbrush for this first part. This part is very simple. You paint the circle red. Okay, after you're done with that, wash out your paintbrush in a cup of water. Dry it off on a paper towel. Put it somewhere off to the side. You don't need it anymore. You're done with the paintbrush for right now. You're done with the red paint, so get it out of the way. You're going to move on to the next color, which would be orange. Carefully open that orange paint. And now you'll be doing something different. You'll be taking this Q-tip, and you're actually going to be painting with it, but it wouldn't make sense for you to paint normally. If that's how you were going to do it, I would just give you the instruction to use the paintbrush. But instead, you're going to use the Q-tip to make little dots. So using this, you're just going to go straight down and straight back up. You want to be very close to that red circle. This is where keeping your sleeve up and out of the way is pretty important, because you're going to be going around this. Keep them close together and try to stay in the circle shape. They're not like touching. It's not going to be a line going around it. It's a dotted line, like that. When you're done doing one row of that, you can take this Q-tip and just put it into the trash or put it off on a piece of paper towel, somewhere where you're going to be able to get rid of it later without any trouble. Then you move on to your next color. It will be yellow. You will get a new Q-tip for this. Get a little bit of yellow paint on the Q-tip and dot a line around that. Close together as you can. Okay, when you're done, that Q-tip goes bye-bye. So does the yellow paint. We get new paint. It's going to be green, and you get another Q-tip. Close together but not touching. Okay, when you're done, get rid of that Q-tip. Get rid of the green paint. Next, we get blue paint and a new Q-tip. Done with blue, I get a new Q-tip and a new color. Now I'm done. I made it all the way to purple from red, but I still got some space left, and I still got some time left. So I could do another 1 or 2 rows of purple if I wanted to. If you don't want to, that could be fine. You could just leave it like this. But I think I want to fill it up a little better. Take your time with this. It's not a rush. It can't really be done well fast. So if you go fast, you're probably not going to be doing your best work. And if you do your best work, you may not be going as fast as you want to, but you know, that's just how things work. If you ran out of room and you don't have room for another purple row, don't sweat it. It's fine. Alright, so I made it all the way to the edges. I kind of got carried away there. But that's art, you know. I got into this and I went just to the one row of purple, and I had all this extra space and I had some time, so I was enjoying what I was doing. I just kept going, and then I even ended up with some blue outside of that. That's totally fine. Wherever your inspiration takes you, just have a good time. Make it something that you're proud of, and I'm sure that it will look terrific. When you're finished, you can take a picture and submit.